Rye Friends on Broadway. How is everyone? Woo! Great to see you all. Hello, everyone. And hello out there, everyone who's watching on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and all the places. Welcome, welcome. Yes, everyone, everywhere. So welcome, thank you so much. Listen, I just want to say before I continue, as always, thank you all for your continued support with the show. It means the world to me. Everyone tuning in, those of you who come out. So again, thank you, thank you. Listen, do me a big favor. I can't do this without you, so get the word out there. Make sure you tweet or Facebook or whatever the kids are doing these days. On social media, I'm at Rye_Myers. It's Rye with an E, like Liza with a Z. And tag me, take stories, put it on there, and get the word out. Whatever you want to do, TikTok, I'm on all of it. And get the word out there. Make sure you also tag Bar9 as well. And listen, throughout the night, make sure you tip your server. That's very important here. So if you're here in person, tip your server. And if you would like, you can also show me some love as well. There's a Venmo QR code on your table. You can scan that, or you can, if you don't have a QR code, you can just put in my Venmo there. For those of you watching at home, on YouTube and Facebook, you'll see the donation information in the bio if you would like to donate. And as always, I'm going to start with some Broadway news like I do, because there's a lot that's happened this past week. And we would be here the whole hour if I broke everything down. So I had to pick the top three. First off, unfortunately, we lost two shows this weekend. First is Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, closed on Sunday. Yes, and as did To Kill a Mockingbird. However, not all things that happen are bad. To Kill a Mockingbird will be returning in June. That'll be returning to the Belasco Theater, so we're excited to have that. And as you can see, one of my 4 brooches that I have, I feel like a 75-year-old woman with all these brooches, To Kill a Mockingbird, so repping that. Another exciting thing, Bonnie and Clyde, which is currently doing a concert with fabulous Jeremy Jordan, and I forget the actress's name who's joining him, but at that concert, they did announce that Bonnie and Clyde will open at the West End, on the West End. It'll make its West End debut in April, so that's very exciting for all you Bonnie and Clyde fans out there. Get on ready, get your tickets, get over to the West End, and hopefully it has a better run over there than it did here all those years later. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it when I was here. Did you like it? Yeah. You enjoyed it?
A lot, actually.
Oh, and it's become so big since then.
Wild Horn Show is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, it's had such a big fan base since then, so I think it'll be even better. And then, of course, it is Broadway Week. Broadway Week is happening through February 13th. For those who don't know, Broadway Week is basically buy one, get one. So you can buy a ticket, 2 tickets for the price of 1. Almost every show is participating, except some of the huge ones like Hamilton and stuff. But just go to the box office, go online, look up Broadway Week NYC, and go out and support the theater, support Broadway, go see a Broadway show now more than ever. The theater needs your support, and get out there. It's safe, and they're working their asses off night after night to bring Broadway to everyone, and we want to continue to make this industry as awesome as possible. So go see a show. And as always, I tell you the shows I've seen the past week. This last weekend, I saw Girl from the North Country, Come From Away, To Kill a Mockingbird, and then yesterday I was able to snag a ticket to The Music Man, the matinee. So, well, I'll be honest with you, how was it? It's not my favorite musical, but I love seeing Hugh and Sutton. So that musical puts me to sleep. But I absolutely love Hugh and Sutton, and I was glad to see the new production. But for me, I'm not, and I know it's special to a lot of people, but that show to me is just not.
Very old-timey.
Yes, very oldie-timey. And I mean, some great classics, but, it was great to see. I never saw Hugh and Sutton perform live, so that was a real bummer at this moment. But other than that, it was, but those who love it will love it. And I got to finally see Book of Mormon again. This was the first time seeing it post-reopening. So with that, help me welcome my very special guest. He is someone who I absolutely adore. Not only is he someone I consider a dear friend, he's a mentor, he's someone I look up to in this industry, has done so much for this industry, from performing to hosting. If you are a part of the Broadway industry, you've seen him all over. I am so happy to welcome the one, the only, the incredible Ben Cameron. Woo! 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 Oh, that's all right.
You guys will watch my phone.
They can take pictures with you.
Oh, you'll take some pictures.
Yes.
This is good. This feels like, this is a good setup. I like being able to sit and be amplified at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, no, this is called a boom stand.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a boom stand.
Oh, I was gonna say, because these are the things in the front of you, so I didn't know if that was what.
Oh, that's not a boom. That's just a sponge.
Oh. Boom stand, nice. Okay. So,
Twist your little knobby on your boom stand and it'll stop.
Is it
Wrong
this
knobby.
Twist your little knobby.
There you go. Now you
There
got
we
This
go.
is dirty.
Now you got the right knob.
Sounds so appropriate.
This is a
Love it.
blue show.
Right? This is so
Right.
fancy. So, Ben, what got you started in performing?
I'm so glad you asked, Rye.
By the way, can we just acknowledge for you, because I know you grew up Mormon, I've
Yes.
got my Book of Mormon socks, and I've got my Book of Mormon
You
pen.
do.
Well, not only because I saw the show,
But in honor of my traumatic upbringing,
God.
I'm triggered, Rye.
I'm sorry,
I'm
you know it's traumatic.
freaking the fuck out, Rye. You don't know what those people did to me, and then none of them danced. Actually, all of them danced. There's so many singers and dancers in Utah. It's very, very weird. But that is, I grew up in Utah,
Yes.
and I grew up Mormon, and crying, and yeah, I got the
It
buzz.
says ask you about being Mormon on your site, so I was mentioning I think it was a good thing.
Yeah. Oh God, no. It's terrible for most everyone, but it's certainly a good story. Yeah, I started really young. I was 9 years old when I did my first show. I got cast in the first play I auditioned for. Can you imagine? And it was a world premiere of Little Lord Fauntleroy the musical, and I was Little Lord Fauntleroy. And from that point on, I did probably 25, 26 musical theater productions throughout from 9 years old until I was 16, 17 years old. I just always did it, including my thrilling run in Children of the Universe, which is a space-age children's musical where I played the lead, Sector 1, and my costume was a mint green lycra unitard and a tinsel headband and a sequin belt and a slap bracelet that I used as a communication device. And I performed that in front of my 7th grade class at Canyon View Junior High School in Orem, Utah. So they didn't like it, right? They didn't like the show. But that got me a lot of attention. So what I lacked in popularity, I made up for in visibility, and I'm doing the same thing today. Still doing it. And so I loved it. And then, I took my gay ass to New York City the second I turned 18 years old. And I skipped off the stage and off the plane. Oh, golly, listen to me.
Same thing.
Yeah, I skipped off the plane and I said, let's suck some dicks. And then where we were, off to the races.
Off to the races in New York City. Well, I was going to say, how did you find your way to New York City from Utah? Did you know New York City is where you wanted to be as you were performing?
I did. It was a tricky thing. And when I teach students, it's really about somewhere, digging down deep somewhere and believing in yourself that you can do it. And I remember I was 15 years old when I made the decision that everything I did from that point on would be towards hopefully one day being on a Broadway stage, everything I would do from that point on. And so I did, and I guess I kind of manifested in that way, but I showed up with all sorts of insecurities and got really, really lucky. I came here to go to school, and I went to school at AMDA. Hey, AMDA! AMDA! It's a warm up. And I dropped out after 2 months. And I was lucky. I was really lucky. I got to work nonstop for a very, very long time. I started auditioning when I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, I knew. And listen, if you grew up, Rye, where did you grow up?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Okay, great, you're fine. So, but if you grew up in Orem, Utah, and all you wanted to do was kiss boys and do a time step, you'd move to New York City at 18 as well, right? You'd be like, fuck this shit! But then you'd feel bad about it and cry because you said that terrible word. But hey, shape makes us funny, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now, it's funny you say that, you weren't supposed to audition. I've heard that from a lot of these theater schools. They don't want you to audition like right away. They want you to wait. Was it because, they wanted you to get like experience first?
Yeah, they want to keep you there, and they want you to have the full experience. I believe with any school, you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along my way in theater, I started dancing and training really intensely as a dancer around 15 years old, and I made my big life decision. And so I was kind of at a level where I was already a professional level dancer, and that was very helpful in it, right? So I was like, I'm spending all this money on these dance classes when I'm already so good. And so, but yeah, I think that you hear about all the time people dropping out of school, and I dropped out when I got my first job. But here's the great news, you guys. So I dropped out in enough time that none of the loans had gone through that we processed for the school loans. So I got out completely scot-free.
What? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Let's clap for that. Where are the people at home? Where are they? Where are they? Hi guys.
They're right there.
Hi everybody. I just look
The
at them.
iPad that says give it some zazz, and then we have the
The iPad says give it some zazz.
the
Oh,
sticker,
of
the
course.
sticker, yes. And then right on top of the trivia cans
Is everything you're looking for.
That's the Bar 9's Facebook page, and that's my iPad with
I love it.
YouTube, Facebook.
Hi everybody.
Yes.
I'm happy to see you.
So happy to see you as well. So, when you came here at 18, you said you had insecurities.
Yeah.
A lot of people deal with that when you move to the city, especially going into the performing arts. What were some of the insecurities that you had that you were able to quickly overcome? I mean, I'm sure there's so many people who have moved or are getting ready to move here that probably have those insecurities.
Here's the thing, right? If you're a performer and all those insecurities are running deep through you and probably never actually go away, why else would you desperately want people to clap for you and listen to you sing and talk? So they never really go away. I think, actually when I got to New York, I started getting some really positive reinforcement from people here who just understood me a bit better than anybody was able to where I came from.
Yeah.
And I found that the things that I maybe didn't like about myself and that I was insecure about were the reasons why I was getting hired. I was very skinny at the time.
Still are.
Thank you, Rye. And I'm like super tall, and I could dance really, really fast. I could dance as fast as short people, and so I started getting, and I could sing. And so I was getting jobs so that I could fill a spot of not looking like everybody else. And those were things that I was very insecure about because I just wanted to be your standard typical hot, probably chorus boy. And because I was a long, gangly, fucking talented weirdo, those are things that worked out for me. And then you just kind of learn to trust it and keep showing up.
Yeah, showing up. That's the big part of it.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing that you booked right after you dropped out and finished?
I went on, I booked 2 jobs, and at the same time, when I booked the Man in the Yellow Hat and Curious George, which was going to be a children's theater tour in like lunchatoriums. And I also got put on a national tour of the Who's Tommy, and that's what I did first, was the national tour of Tommy.
I would have done that.
Oh, fun. I love that show so much, and I have a weird connection to it. So yeah, I did that, and then I went from Tommy, then I went to Europe for 9 months and did the Fame the musical. That exists. It's awful, but it's really fun to do. It's 3 hours long. It's like as long as Les Mis. You're like, but something about this doesn't feel like it has the same weight.
Isn't the movie about that long too?
Of Fame?
Yeah, isn't the movie that long?
I don't know. I need to go back and watch it.
I thought it was about 3 hours too. Jeez.
Yeah. Then I came back and went on the national tour of State Fair, and that's when I got the call that I was going to do Footloose on Broadway. While I was doing that in 1998.
Wow.
remember.
That
It's
is
a callback or
incredible.
something.
And I'm sure
It's like a
when you
callback,
got
but I
Footloose, that
thought
has
it
been
was
such a big, shocking honor to you.
I think so.
Yes, it was shocking. Yeah, I was 19 years old. It was crazy. I remember jumping up and down on bed and laughing and screaming, and my roommate on the tour that I was living with hated that moment.
Oh, it is. Yes.
He was like 47 and on this like bus and truck tour and was like, this fucking faggot. And just, while I clapped my hands and squealed, but it was a really great moment for me.
I love it. That is amazing. What was your role in Footloose?
I was a swing!
Oh,
Happy
yay!
National Swing Day!
Let's give it up for swings.
I was a swing. I was a swing and I was terrible at it, so even more reason that I respect swing so much. And I was a swing, and then I left Broadway Company to go dance captain the tour, which went out like 2 months after it opened on Broadway. And then I came back and I closed the show on Broadway, which was kind of a wonderful full circle moment.
How long did it run?
Too long. I don't know. You guys won't remember this, but this might be fun for anybody who's watching at home. So in an effort to save Footloose near the end, they decided that they needed to do a whole new marketing strategy. So they created a boy band within the show that was called the Footloose 5. So it was Jeremy Kushner, the lead role, and 5 of like the hot ensemble boys, and they made all of the advertisements all over town were a picture of these guys. And they were called the Footloose 5, and what would happen is at the end of the show, but everybody come Footloose! Everybody would back up except the guys in the Footloose 5 who would step into pin spots as the drop came back in. The first time I did it, I got hit in the head by the scrim, but that's a different story. And you stand in the pin spots, and then they would do, let's hear it for my girl. I'm talking to you, girl. And so they thought they were going to try to get on this boy band craze, but the audience didn't get it. It was the most humiliating, one of the most humiliating things I've ever done on a stage in my entire life. It did not save the show. And it was a really aggressive and in the audience's face, and the little girls were like, I'm not happy.
What an interesting,
Desperate attempt. Yeah, absolutely, I guess. They're like girls like boys, right? Is that sort of thing?
So then a few years later, you went then into another show that we all know, Aida.
I did Aida on Broadway for 2.5 years,
Broadway Cast, right?
which is, no, I was not. I came in within the first year. So I got to work with Heather Headley and Adam and Sherry Renee Scott because the tour was going out. One of the guys left the tour, and so I thought I was auditioning for the tour and got moved into the Broadway company. But, you know, like, hey, everybody, what's your role? Nubian slave number 3, which wouldn't fly today at all. But I'm excited. It's coming back at some point. And Shelley Williams, my friend, is directing, and I love her.
It was supposed to go to paper mill for a long time.
Yeah, so, but I think there's still plans for it to happen at some point, so. But I loved doing that show. And, I thought that show was really, really underrated, and I think the score is really underrated, and I think it got totally eviscerated that year at the Tonys. It didn't get nominated for much of anything except for Heather Headley, and I think that was direct backlash against Disney having won for Lion King over Ragtime. Do you guys know any of these shows that I'm talking about? To the people who watch things on the streaming, they were great big shows.
I'm sure you,
That your
those of you out
parents
there
liked.
know Lion King, Ragtime, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was, but
That's a good
but
one.
I loved that show, and I was in that until I went into Wicked.
Well, I was going to say, after that, then you were at a little known show that nobody really knows anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's very small, called Wicked.
Yeah, do you know what? It's like the only joke you can use to intro that show because it's the exact same thing I do.
Yeah.
Like, you may still make it a little off-Broadway show, Wicked.
Not just Wicked, but the original Broadway cast of Wicked with 2 incredible leading ladies, Kristen Chenoweth and Adina Menzel.
Yeah.
So, how did you land the role in Wicked in the original Broadway cast? And I mean, how magical was that experience? Did you all know at the time that this was going to be as big as it was?
It was so cool to get that call that I was going to be doing Wicked, and I didn't know anything about it. So when I read the book, and of course the book is incredibly different than a musical, but I remember doing our first day of rehearsal, doing the table read where, you know, Adina knew the songs and a couple people knew the songs, and so we sat around the table and read through the script, and Adina did, you know, Wizard and I, and I didn't know all of the fun spoilers that come in Act 2. Don't leave before Act 2 because you're going to want to get those big moments in. And I remember being blown. I was like, I called my mom as we went to lunch that day and I said, this is going to be huge. And it's been the gift that keeps on giving. I'm still in touch with them. I was there for 3.5 years, and I was lucky enough to be the live audience host for the NBC Wicked Anniversary Special, which was incredible. They asked me to do that. And I still host events around inside the Wicked world, which is really fantastic. And I'm available.
Yes, if you are watching in Wicked.
Do you want to know my plan?
I do.
It's called Operation Dillamond. And it's where I start a grassroots campaign on social media to bring me back to the show and play Dr. Dillamond the Goat. And right,
Well,
but it's like
they haven't called you. They've been calling everyone.
I know, right?
Everyone.
So
Don't say to come and fill in.
right, but listen, the goat can do it literally dead. You can like wheel out the reanimate his corpse and do it. But listen, so I think if I get enough signatures, like on a Facebook thing, that I can go back in and then we'll make it like it'll be on New York One.
That's amazing. Yes. Oh my God, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you should
Will
do
you
that.
sign?
I will sign, of course. Yes, do like a change.org sort of thing. Where you go,
Ooh, maybe we'll do it's hashtag Ben Does Dillamond.
oh, I like that. Yeah, hashtag that was the
I'm available for
I
that.
like that. That's great. That's great. Yeah, so taking part in a lot of Broadway, original Broadway companies is such a special experience. What did you learn from your originating roles in these companies about yourself?
Oh, it's so, no, there's nothing like originating something. I mean, it's fun to like see your mark on because you really do. It's never, if you think it's going to be a situation where you're going to walk in and everyone's going to tell you exactly what to do and when, you're absolutely wrong, which is something I try to instill in the kids that I teach, that you need to be ready to go off and participate in the making of the magic and make strong choices. That's really, really fun and really, really cool. I'm just so grateful that I was able to be part of that phenomenon. I'm gonna ride that wave the rest of my life.
Well, and you're in millions of homes every night if they have the soundtrack because
Because I have the most important line in the show.
yes,
Yeah.
which is
I met some girls at Trivia the other night. They were like 21 years old, and it came up that I'm the guy who says that one line,
yeah.
and they wept and took a picture. They're never gonna remember that this happened because of drunk, but they were very excited. They wept. Yeah, but my story about the line is, Glinda, is it true you were her friend? It's the top of the track too, and on the day many years ago, now that they've got the real casting for the movie, but they had another director initially when they had announced the movie, and they announced in the press the director of what was going to be the wicked movie. And that day, Lin-Manuel Miranda tweeted, "Hey," at whoever that director was, "can I be the guy who says, Glinda, is it true you were her friend?" And everybody of course started sending me this tweet, so I tweeted back at him and said, "As the guy who says that, you have my blessing, and thank you for the best birthday present ever," because it was on my birthday.
Oh my God.
Did you know I had a birthday party here at Bar 9?
Really?
Yeah. It was my 26th birthday, so just a couple weeks ago.
30 years ago.
30, oh!
Yeah, right.
I'll have more seltzer, please.
I'm about to offer that.
And an additional lime for the disgrace.
And I love can I have some more water, please, too?
Listen, the jig is up.
Yes. It's so funny. 2 weeks ago, when I had Ashley Adams here. She's like, "Oh yeah, we used to come here all the time back, years ago." I didn't realize that Bar 9 is such a staple.
Oh yeah, I had a birthday balloon bash, and like the whole Broadway community came charging into the back with all different kinds of balloons, and it was cash and prizes.
That sounds like a
Yeah, the Bar 9 is the shit. Bar 9 is like OG.
Yeah, it's good that for Bar 9 again. Yeah. I'm thrilled that Bar 9 allows me to do this show and kick off your Thursdays. I'm so thrilled.
Rye, I'm having a nice time talking to you.
I'm having a wonderful time too, and I thank you for taking the time to chat with me. As I said to you, everything you do is such a mentor to me. I admire everything you do. We've had conversations on the side about, advice and everything, and so it's an honor that I get to, because for those of you who don't know, and we'll go a little bit more into this later, you run Broadway Sessions, which has been around for going on 10 years.
Oh no, 13 and a half.
13 and a half. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry, 10. Yeah.
Sorry, how could you possibly know? You're only 13 and a half yourself.
Right. And it becomes such a staple in the Broadway community as far as hosting Broadway events. So to be able to have this opportunity, I must say that I'm, a little pinch me please. It's an honor.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how did you get started in hosting, and how did it come up with the brand of Your Broadway Buddy?
Yeah. I got back after Wicked for 3.5 years. I went on tour with Sweet Charity, who starred Molly Ringwald, and yes, she's as good a kisser as you'd hope that she would be. Those pillowy lips, I've smooched them. That's right, you didn't get to hear that today. Hashtag Molly Ringwald kiss. I love her. And I got back and I went to a couple auditions and I was really feeling creatively recharged. I had a great role in Sweet Charity and was feeling really on fire. And I got back and I started auditioning and found that my heart wasn't really in it. But I had this creative fire in my belly and I wanted to do something. And I was like, well, what are the things I like? I like hanging out in bars and I have a lot of friends. in the Broadway community. So I went to a little gay bar up around the corner from my apartment and said, hey, this is who I am and this is what I think we could do. And we started what we then called the Bendy Show, that was on a stage that was not even boop. And I had my guests and I just started experimenting with it. And my first guests on the show were Titus Burgess and Katie Thompson, I think.
Wow.
And it kind of became a thing there. And then we moved to bar in Midtown, and that's the rest is history. So through that, I found my new superpower. That really kind of came out of the first time I did a solo cabaret act while I was still in Wicked.
Oh.
And I was kind of going off script, and I had this moment where I said something crazy, and this was a wonderful response from the audience, and I went, oh my God. I like this every bit as much as singing and dancing on Broadway. This moment, this feeling, this connection.
Yeah.
So I started to feel like I had this other superpower, and I just started cultivating it. And you know, the snowball starts to go, and however many years later, I just keep saying yes and walking through the doors that are available to me, and I don't give up. And I advocate for myself, and I believe in myself and what I do for the community. And now there's Broadway Buskers and the Broadway Cast and Dance Captain Dance Attack and the Broadway Sessions Beach Party on Fire Island and Broadway Con and all the things that I get, and you know, all the things with Broadway Cares that I get to do. And it's really
September we'll be able to see outside at the Broadway Cares table. Hopefully they'll do it.
I know. Last year, people were asking me about it, and I was like, I don't think that they're letting people walk up and hand you their bullshit to be signed. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yes, hopefully.
It's not bullshit. I don't mean it that way.
I was gonna say, no, I saw my signed poster from my first year ever that I went.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible, and always say yes, walk through that door, and you have to advocate for yourself. That's hard, I know, for a lot of people.
It's hard
to do. I struggle with it, and advocating for yourself is the hardest thing. You know.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is. But no one's going to believe it people will believe what you tell them, right? And if you say this is who I am and this is what I have to offer, they will believe you. And you know what's been interesting in the hosting progression of my life?
Yeah.
I remember when I first really went in on that, and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. Like, I think this is what I want this kind of thing that we're doing to be my next thing. Everybody said to me, oh, but don't you miss being on stage, and don't you miss performing, and don't you? And I remember getting really chest puffy about it, because I was like, no, I can do this, and this is a thing, and I'm on stage all the time, and I'm performing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wonderful that I still believe in something that nobody had seen done before, that I've done.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, before we get to you performing, one last note on the hosting. As a host, what are some of the most important things you've learned in keeping the crowd engaged?
I am always aware of the crowd. I know exactly what's going on in the audience at all times, and I take it in, I let it be, I make it part of the show. That's how I do it. I am listening for reactions, I'm looking for reactions, I talk to my audience directly all the time, and if something comes up, hey, what's going on, I don't go, oh, that's an imperfection, let's sweep it under the rug. That's where the good stuff is, and that's where I'm having the most fun. Right? So I tell everybody, especially with Broadway sessions, when they come in, that this is not a show that you're going to sit and watch. This is an experience you are deeply involved in. And that's how I like it, because I like the energy of being with people. You know, that's why I like this. You know, you get that when you're on PBS.
Yeah.
Right.
So. I love that. Well, with that, let's get to singing. You're going to be performing for us. Tell us what you're going to be singing.
It's a really perfect song to sing for right now, because I just, at 43 years old, just joined Tinder. That's right. I just joined the dating apps. I'm a 43-year-old gay man who just signed up for Tinder and OkCupid, which makes me feel like a 14-year-old girl. And I don't know how it works, and I'm pretty convinced that most people who are on there who appear to be Argentinian supermodels aren't real, but I'm hopeful. And if any of you know a gentleman of a certain age that you want to set me up with so I can get off these fucking apps, I would really appreciate it. I am open to your suggestions. It's every bit as sad as you're imagining. So, hit it. There must be one sort of decent guy out there who's willing to hold my hand, hold it for all to see, sweaty though it's bound to be. 'Cause if he held my hand, he would own my heart before the count of 3, and maybe I could trick that guy to fall in love with me. There must be some sweet fool who dare to take my hand on a crowded street, or at a table in some cafe, or even halfway through a matinee. He'd sometimes squeeze and sometimes stroke, and sometimes let it be, and maybe I could trick that fool to fall in love with me. I wouldn't care what those 5 fingers did all day. They could roll cigars or detail cars or draft a spaceship that flies to Mars. They could feed the homeless from match up DNA. As long as those fingers are tangled up by nightfall, anything, everything's okay. There must be one sort of normal chump out there who's willing to take the lead, gives me a second look, skip the cover, read the book. And when I find that chump who is willing to embrace my one demand, I give the moon, because he held my hand. My strangely clammy, chewed up fingernail, often trembling with virtuosic, antibacterial lotion wearing. So set me up with your 40-year-old gay friends. I'll go down to 35. It's a Omicron special.
That was incredible.
Thanks, Rye.
Good job. And what was that from again?
That is a song by the brilliant Jeff Blumenkrantz,
Wow.
who is an incredible actor, an amazing songwriter as well, obviously. Thank you so much, Miles, for that on the piano.
Miles, the incredible Miles.
And it's just a song that was on his album of compositions that he wrote. He's so brilliant, and I did it my very first cabaret show I ever did years and years ago, and I love that song.
Hello, by the way. Hello, everyone coming in. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Yes. That's awesome. What a great song.
Yeah, thanks.
You're so welcome. For those of you who are just joining us, we've got a lot of new people. Welcome. This is Live with Rye Friends on Broadway, the new Broadway talk show here in Hell's Kitchen, one of the only free Broadway talk shows, no minimums, covers, or reservations. And I kick off your Thursdays here at Bar 9, where we talk with some of the best people in the Broadway industry. And so thank you so much for coming out first. So, thank you. Yes, welcome to everyone. So,
Rye, I'm having a good time.
I'm good. Well, I'm having a great time as well. So, we spoke about Broadway Sessions earlier. Broadway Sessions is back officially. But
Yeah.
currently, I think it's on hiatus for a bit, right?
Yeah, we always take we take a little time off around the holidays. We go up till about mid-December, and then it's just, we enter that no man's
Yeah, guys,
land.
watch out with the camera right there.
Oh, is it there?
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, I keep talking to this.
Well, that's on too. I was just
Oh,
saying.
was that you over there?
Jackie, just be careful.
But wait, is that-
Sorry. Yeah,
Are those your
that's
people,
there.
and that's the Darnine people?
Yes.
Oh, hi, are those people?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone wants to care more about what I'm saying. Yeah, I didn't know. I'll cheat out at stagecraft.
No, you've got many people.
What was the question?
No, I was saying, with Broadway Sessions.
Oh, yes.
we're on
Yeah,
hiatus.
so we took our hiatus. We are back on February 3rd with our 6th annual Black History Month celebration, where we bring in an entirely Black roster of incredible Broadway artists to celebrate Black excellence, contributions, and legacy on Broadway and beyond. So it's a big sold-out show. We'll be back at the Laurie Beechman Theatre, and then we are back again on February 17th, and we march till the end of June. So come see us at Broadway Sessions. You can get all the info you need about that. It's an experience if you're watching that like you have never had before. As we bring the Broadway stars in to let their hair down and act like lunatics, frankly. We had the 6 girls a couple weeks ago before.
Saw that.
Utter mayhem is what it was. They all ended up singing Take Me or Leave Me together, 4 of them. And it was
That is-
something. And you know what, Ryan? When the wheels come off the bus, I let it roll. You know?
You have to. And that's one of the things I'm learning is it's got to be perfectly imperfect. You know?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's what makes it more fun.
Absolutely.
You know, I've learned that. So
Yeah, good.
amazing. Well, we'll talk more about Broadway Sessions later.
Okay.
Now is my favorite time of night during the show.
Oh, it is?
It is Broadway Trivia.
Oh, okay. It's my favorite time too. Good.
Okay, so how this is going to work is...
Ryan, I'm crazy for trivia.
I know, you are the master at it. How this is going to work is trivia questions. I am going to ask trivia questions. Whoever guessed it, raise your hand. I'll call on you. If you get it right,
Ryan, may I play?
you may play.
Thank you.
Here we go. So, if you want to play, I'm going to ask the question, raise your hand. And if you get it right, then you get one of these awesome, incredible prizes that I have here. We've got window cards, we've got signed playbills from To Kill a Mockingbird and Tootsie and Chicago and everything in between. So, as I've said before, I don't F around here with prizes at Live with Rye Friends on Broadway. We've given away
I've
Amazon
said
cards.
some terrible words tonight, Ryan. You just said I don't F around. Have I spoiled your G reading?
No.
I feel like your brand is cleaner than that. I'm sorry
No, you haven't.
for fucking it up.
No, it's all right. Well, I never know with YouTube anymore, so
They're okay.
Yes. So
You're all
anyway,
right, kids.
we don't play here, and we're giving away gift cards and tickets, so that's why you need to come out every week. All right. So, question 1: what theater did the 2016 revival of Cats play at when it opened? What theater did the Cats revival open at?
Oh, wait. It's not? I think, did it open again at the Winter Garden?
No.
It moves back there though, right?
No.
What the fuck am I talking about? Oh, was that the Neil Simon?
Yes, the Neil Simon Theater. That's correct. Fabulous. Okay. You know, here you go. You get and some of these prizes are also thanks to the Broadway Makers Marketplace at Columbus Underground, who were so kind to also donate a lot of these great prizes as well.
I was there for the opening.
Yes,
so
you
that,
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hosted it. This is an unruly heart pin from the prom.
Yeah,
Yes, courtesy of Coloring Broadway.
I'm on Tinder and okay.
Yeah, amazing. Here is the signed playbill from Cuba Gooding Jr. in Chicago.
Wow!
And
Wow! Isn't he? Wow! Isn't he nuts?
I think so,
Great.
but it was in my collection, and I have a lot, so I have different signed
I love it.
playbills. So, and then finally, the Lulu, the Broadway Mouse, by the incredible Jenna Gaffigan.
I want to know all about Lulu the Broadway Mouse.
Yes. So
In fact, I'd like you to refer to me as Lulu the Broadway Mouse.
Lulu the Broadway Mouse. That's what I'm going to refer to you as for the rest of the night. Second question: who will be taking over the role of Jafar full time in Aladdin on Broadway starting on January 25th? Currently, this guy is the standby for Jafar and the Sultan. Anyone know? Taking over the part of Jafar in Aladdin on Broadway.
I know.
Ben?
My good friend for many years, Dennis Stowe.
Dennis Stowe, that's correct. That is correct. Congratulations. You already got a prize.
That's all right. I'm
But
happy,
yes,
I'm
Dennis
happy
Stowe,
with
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Lulu and Cuba.
Yes. What was the name of the theater that Spider-Man Turned Off the Dark originally opened at?
It's the lyric, right?
Well, what was before that? Yes, the
Oh, the
Foxwoods. It was the
Foxwoods.
Foxwoods. All righty. All right. You get the signed playbill with the End of the Rainbow poster as well. Here you go.
Foxwood.
So, End of the Rainbow with Tracy Bennett and a signed playbill from Tootsie. You're welcome. You're welcome. I always remember the movie that was, I think, was it on PBS? I don't know. Tammy Blanchard was in it with Judy Garland. And was it ABC, the family movie? And I remember getting it from the library and the saying on the front of the cover, Judy found the end of the rainbow. Dorothy found the end of the rainbow. Judy spent her whole life looking for it.
Oh.
Is it really? Oh, okay, my goodness. Oh, interesting.
Ah.
Interesting. Well, it was very good. So anyway, that was what that was, but in talking about Judy Garland. Alrighty, so this is the final one, though. I will give one more if we don't get these two prizes out. What musical was Audra McDonald's Broadway debut? Nope.
It's Masterclass.
No. What was Audra McDonald's Broadway debut? What musical was Audra McDonald's Broadway debut?
Do you want to hear a fun fact about Audra McDonald?
Yes.
Sometimes we get her mail at my apartment.
Really?
Yeah, I had an old roommate who once did assistant work for her, and so sometimes we get mail addressed to Audra McDonald.
That's pretty amazing.
I know, I'm very excited about it. But
amazing.
what was she in first?
Do you know her? Do you
I've never met her. I don't know her at all.
One day
no.
when you meet her, you say, I get your mail.
I will. Yeah,
I
I told her husband that.
I'm sure he probably thought that was creepy.
Yeah, it is, right? How dangerous.
Okay, so
He's a former Mormon too.
is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow, everyone in the Broadway community, they're all Mormons.
I'm telling you, they sing and dance like crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
you, Claiborne, Will, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Secret Garden.
Really?
Secret Garden. She replaced it. Yes.
All right, that's a fun fact. I did not know.
Alrighty, so I have two more prizes still. So, who is and I've asked this before, but we have a new crowd here. What composer has the most Tony Awards? Has won the most Tony Awards?
Oh,
What?
well, put that in there, man, already.
What composer has won the most Tony Awards? Yes, Sondheim.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
correct.
good to
That's
say.
correct. Okay, we'll do one more. Which actress is tied with Audra McDonald for having the most Tony Award wins? Which actress is tied with Audra McDonald having the most Broadway wins?
Angela
Lansbury?
Lansbury?
No.
I know this. I do.
Give us the initials, Rye.
J.A. are the initials.
Julie Andrews?
Yes, Julie Andrews. Her and Audra have won 6 times.
Julie Andrews has won that many Tonys?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know. I believe it's-
Camelot, The Boyfriend.
What was the?
Victor Victoria, no, because she denied the nomination because the show didn't get any of the nominations.
That's what I remember reading on the Tony website, was that it was that her and Audra,
That's most nomination. So can we fact check this? I believe you.
I know Audra is tied. This is what listen.
She is tied with
Listen,
somebody.
everyone. Nobody wanted to answer the other 2 questions, so I had to come up with this off the top of my head. From what I remember, that's what I remember reading. Maybe I'm wrong. I apologize if so.
Get him!
All right. Well, you'll just have to come back next week and get the remaining 2 prizes. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Congratulations to our winners. Some great gifts. And come back next week and you know what we'll have. It's good things. So, what's been your favorite moment of Broadway Sessions throughout the years?
Oh my gosh, I can't even really. One time we had Cyndi Lauper get up and just go on a tirade for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
Just going on and on and on about how much she loves theater, and then she's saying you can't get a man with a gun, and then she sang another song called "Is There a Straight Man in the House?" And just like you couldn't stop her. She was just having a really good time.
Did she know about it, or did we bring her out to it?
We had the cast of Kinky Boots there, and she came along with them. We've had that happen a couple times. Alan Menken has been to the show.
Oh my gosh.
Who composers wise?
Well, Cindy, if you're watching, you're welcome here anytime.
Absolutely.
And
Come on
Alan
back.
Menken.
It was super funny. What else has happened? So much has happened. I can't even. Raven Simone has played a game. I just got reminded of that. I forgot about that. Who else? Everybody's been there.
Yeah.
At some point or another. Yeah. Ariana Grande has sung at Broadway Sessions.
Prior to stardom?
Oh, obviously. Yeah. But we don't have to tell people that.
Well, I mean, I know she's lives in the States, so I wasn't sure. I mean, sometimes she appears places. So
You never know. Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah, but we've had a lot of I interviewed Hank Azaria as all of his different Simpsons characters at one point.
Oh my God.
Gosh, I don't know. It's like asking me to remember what movie I want when I walk into a Blockbuster, and I've spent the last 2 weeks thinking about what movie I want at Blockbuster, and then you walk in and it's gone.
I love that. So,
Blockbuster was a store in a strip mall where you would go to rent a movie film and take it home with you for a short period of time, and you would have to take it back and rewind it unless you were a jerk.
yes, be kind. Please rewind.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. The kids today, they don't remember the joys of going. I remember Blockbuster. Every
Do you?
Friday. I do. Every Friday night, I would go with my mom or dad. We'd go to Blockbuster.
It was an event.
It was an event.
To go to the
go
Blockbuster.
We'd get a movie, and we would sometimes allow to get candy or
Yeah.
popcorn there.
And
I
the-
remember it smelled of like movies and popcorn and yes.
Yeah, and all the kids, like if you were in high school, that was the cool job to have. If you worked at the Blockbuster, you
Was
were
it?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked Blockbuster a lot. And then when they did the DVDs and that came out, that was a big
Still
thing.
doable, and video games you could rent. I did that too.
Yes, there was always the shows and movies I wanted to watch and see that I couldn't because they were PG-13 and my parents wouldn't let me, but it was still always so cool to go in and pick out movies. It was always, and you know me, it was always the same, like Kathy Rigby, Peter Pan.
Sure,
you know,
sure. Little Shop of Horrors, over and over
Right,
and over
exactly. Mary
again.
Martin, Peter Pan, Joseph, and Mr. Country Code.
Oh yeah.
So, what advice would you give to the kids today who are coming into the industry, both out of school, both from school? What advice do you have for them in pursuing in the career of theater?
The best advice that I give young people, I think, is to really, it's so easy to get lost and to hold yourself to a standard of trying to be what you think other people want you to be and not put the work into developing what's truest and most interesting about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And your superpowers and the way you will be cast in this business is by having a fully fleshed out you product to bring into it, because even the greatest actors are always bringing themselves into it, and that's what makes it interesting. So knowing who you are and what's special about you and not trying to be like other people, and also this comparison culture that we live in because of Instagram and all the videos that we see all the time is so incredibly toxic, and it is so vile to the soul. And people, give yourselves some time off. I won't do it, of course, but I'm old enough. I'm old enough that I'm impervious and I don't care. But it's got to be just awful, right? To be like, oh, we're all lying on social media. So stop comparing yourself to others, because your journey will be uniquely yours, whether you like it or not. And what will never work for you is trying to be the girl you're jealous of.
And it's a very tough thing. I mean, as the quote goes, comparison is the thief of joy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I think everyone struggles with the imposter syndrome.
Oh, I still do. I'm like, when are they going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing?
But
I'm making it up.
Yes, but I will say, and it's not to attack, you know, the industry, not even our industry, but just like the people who make the decisions in general, in our industry and industry in general, that higher ups, that's what they sort of feed off of. They want the people who have, the 30,000 followers to do this project, to do that show, to do that theater thing. And how many followers do you have is unfortunately, from what I'm seeing, is becoming, a bigger thing. And that's where I think a lot of this comes from, of people, and that they don't become their authentic selves. And I think it's, and I'm not going after them, and I'm not saying it's just their fault, but that's a lot of what we're seeing today is all about clicks and likes.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's really
the fact that you can be famous for no reason for badly doing a one-arm dance and get an opportunity over somebody who may be tenfold more capable of it is disgusting.
It is. Oh, it is. It is. So we were talking earlier about everything you do for the Broadway community hosting-wise, but you've also done some incredible hosting work on PBS, and you also host the.
Isn't that weird?
It is, but in a good way.
Who let me in there?
Who let you into PBS?
What's the strangest casting that ever happened, right?
Then on PBS.
Weird.
Lulu on PBS.
I mean, Lulu on PBS. Lulu the Mouse
Lulu the Mouse
on PBS.
Oh, wait, you did the Downton Abbey special on
Yeah, that was my first PBS job, and I auditioned for it.
And
I had never
cool.
seen Downton Abbey, and preparing for the audition, I laid in bed for 3 days cramming Downton Abbey episodes into my brain and face, but Downton Abbey doesn't move very quickly, so I kept falling asleep and having to restart the episodes
Hey!
so that I would know what was up when I went in for the audition. And then they were, and they made me do impressions of the characters.
Oh.
But so
Can you still do
it
it?
was no. Carlson. So and then what's a weekend? It's Maggie Smith. But that's what's kind of started. It was so fun, and that was on for 3 whole days on PBS leading up to the debut of the new season. It was on New Year's. We did a whole countdown, and they have just been calling ever since. And I've gotten to do all sorts of fun things. We did
Hamilton.
We did the Hamilton's America, which did so well that we did that twice for a national spot. We did a Broadway on 13 marathon. I've interviewed Heather Headley, Chris Bodie, John Legend, Andrea Bocelli.
So check your PBS listing, folks. You never know when you see that on it.
You just don't know.
You don't know. We just did something recently within I think last year you were in a park.
We filmed in Central Park,
Not at all, really.
And I was wearing shorts, but you'll never know.
Well, you've got a lot of exciting things in the works. You were the host for a while of the Broadway Cast podcast. And you've done a lot of other things. What is coming up for you that you can announce for us, or not announce, but about that is in the works?
I can say that if anybody out here really loved the Broadway Cast, you can still listen to that on iTunes and Spotify and all of that. And that was produced by Playbill. But if you're looking around, looking for podcasts, on March 22nd, on a certain iHeart app, you might find us back again, coming up soon. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's very exciting, but it's big.
And March 22nd, isn't it also Stephen Sondheim and Andrew Lloyd Webber's?
Oh God, I hope so. I should know that, but I feel deep shame. And if it's not, they should change their birthdays to match.
It is. It's the 22nd. Because they share a birthday.
They do. I did know that.
Wow, that couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, I once took a video of myself drinking wine in a tub while listening to Andrew Lloyd Webber to celebrate that on Instagram.
Well, now on March 20th. Now you've got something. Now the release of that comes out on there March 22nd, and it's
it's not set in stone, but we're very excited. We're very excited to be working with.
That was good. Whoever planned that was good planning on their end.
With a big company like that.
Yeah, I mean, incredible, so incredible. Dance is also a big part of your life.
Yeah.
You've traveled the country teaching, doing workshops, coaching, judging, different competitions. What do you love about that, and what about that has made you sort of a better person, or have you learned about yourself doing all of this dancing?
You know what? It's interesting what you learn at being an educator or judging dance competitions, for example. Sometimes you find yourself halfway through this thought that you're giving as a critique to a performer, but you never thought about it before. And then you realize you learned something about the art form that you never knew before, that never resonated or clicked before, just because you got to experience dissecting somebody else's performance in real time. But I just really, really like young performers. I love people who are passionate about what they do, and I love to connect with them and help guide them. And it's, you know, it's a great job doing that. And it's afforded me a lot of, you know, it's a wild thing that I'll be filming on PBS one day and then I fly to choreograph a dance in North Carolina for a competition studio the next day.
The dance moms don't drive you crazy.
The Dance Moms can't drive. I was on an episode of Dance Moms. First season.
Oh, wow.
First season, episode 3. They came to our competition and I'm on there. Yeah, so maybe I have peaked.
Wow, maybe. I mean, that's pretty cool. Well, did you get to meet Ave Btwn?
Oh, I've known Abby long before there was a Dance Moms.
Wow.
You know, I've known Abby a very, very long time.
But that's good. It's going to be interesting. Do you find today with these dance competitions, and I don't know if you were involved with them when you were younger, are they sort of the same as they were back then, or does the competition become, you know, more intense? Is it sort of the same?
Oh, it's more intense, and of course the level of what they can do physically. It's like the Olympics or figure skating. Like what they can do, what I did as a kid, as a teenager, you know, we would do a high kick and a triple pirouette and a cooter slam and thought we were the shit. And now these kids are like holding their legs and spinning forward. It's amazing how high the level is. So it's certainly gotten, the bar has risen, but I think it's really important. I know with my theatrical background, I really like being able to give them a really substantive portion of what it means to be a performer and to connect with the lyrics, whether you're singing, dancing, acting, whatever, being a storyteller, because they don't always do that, you know, young people.
Wow, that's great. Wow, I love that. Wow. Now, as we finish up here, where can we keep up with you, follow you, all the good stuff? What are the...
Oh, Rye, I'm so glad you asked. You can keep up with me on social media at Ben Does Broadway, on the Twitter, on the Instagram. Broadway Sessions is at Bway Sessions. You can go to my website, bencameron.nyc, because that's where I live. And or just roam the streets of Midtown yelling my name, and you're bound to find me in some place. But I don't care how you get there. Just get there if you can.
I enjoy that. I like that last part. I think everybody should just roam the streets.
Roam the streets, calling my name, and I will be there, and I will appear.
You will come hither, and you will be there.
You won't know why I'm there, and maybe I won't, but I'll be there for you.
Amazing. Well, as we finish up here, is there any sort of last things or final words, anything I didn't have to touch on that you'd like to share with our guests before we depart?
No.
Well, listen, Ben, thank you so much for being my guest today. Thank you for taking the time. Let's give a round of applause for
Thanks,
Ben,
guys.
everyone. This is wonderful. Really, thank you so much. And listen to you, the audience, everyone out here, thank you so much. For those at home watching, thank you for tuning in. Again, for those watching at home, leave a comment. Let me know what you loved. We have some great guests coming up. Next week's guest is the incredible music sensation, Michael Mott. The following week on February 3rd, we have the incredible Hannah Cruz from the Tour of Hamilton.
Love her.
She is something else. And many more people to be announced. Listen, for those here, make sure you tip your wait staff. I believe Tiffany, right, is our incredible bartender behind the bar. So show her some love. You know, tip her. And as I said too, if you're watching at home or here, you love what you see, spread the magic around. And if you'd love to Venmo me, I would love the support as well. And finally, as I say every week, we need it more than ever. Go see a Broadway show, get tickets to a Broadway show, support live art, whether it's a cabaret, an event. We need it more than ever. It's safe. Go see a Broadway show, support the arts. And I will see you next week. Stick around for Mess Musicals, Broadway Karaoke. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rye.
It was fun. I'm not